What's happening, y'all? It's your boy Q Monster here, back at it once again. Just got home from work. I'm tired as hell, but I'm not that tired. But I still got enough energy in me to do some little bit of reaction tonight. Go ahead and throw that in there for y'all. So let's go ahead and check out this the most cringe-worthy DCU moments. Alrighty. Yeah, there was a whole lot of cringy stuff in the DCEU, you know, throughout those years when we was watching it. Except for Zack Snyder's though. But yeah, let's check out all the rest of them that wasn't all that good. So let's go ahead and get on to it.
A superhero quoting a warmongering vice president, a hilarious evil dance routine, and perhaps the worst Batman moment of all time. Here are a few times that DC movies made us cringe. It's probably fair to say that Gal Gadot is not exactly recognized as one of her generation's masters of the theatrical arts. Some might argue that's okay. After all, her iteration of Wonder Woman relies on physicality and charisma much more than suspending the audience's disbelief. Indeed, when she does come off as a little disconnected, that actually helps her project a sense of otherworldliness. But every once in a while, Gadot delivers some good old-fashioned bad acting. Her infamous overwrought reprimand of a rampaging Superman in both the 2017 and the 2021 versions of Justice League serves as a case in point. Of course, Wonder Woman's decision to call Superman by his Kryptonian birth name at this point seems odd in itself, seeing as how basically nobody from Earth calls him that. But the real shocker here is Gadot's line read. Both Justice League movies include different takes of Wonder Woman's warning.
Kal-El, no! Kal-El, no!
And neither of them are good. This might suggest that the writers ought to share some of the blame for this particular blunder, but let's face it, Gadot is hardly helping. This is a scene that'll be talked about for decades, but not for the reasons DC once hoped. In 2016's Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, Batman is about to impale Superman on a kryptonite spear and then...
You're letting him kill Martha!
Him refers to Lex Luthor, who has taken Martha Kent hostage. Martha, as an abstract concept, provides a basis for thoughtful analysis of gender in Zack Snyder's DCEU films. That said, even though her kidnapping provides Superman's motivation at this point, Martha barely seems like she's in this movie at all. Until...
Save Martha!
This cosmic coincidence forces Batman to hesitate, allowing enough time for Lois Lane to show up and explain Luthor's evil plot. And sure, in some parallel universe, there may exist a version of this scene that isn't cringeworthy. After all, the idea does make sense. It's just a shame the execution leaves so much to be desired. When Vice President Dick Cheney left office in 2009, his administration's approval rating had sunk into the low 20s. So should a beloved hero like Batman parrot such a hugely divisive and retired politician? Dawn of Justice seems to think so.
He has the power to wipe out the entire human race, and if we believe there's even a 1% chance that he is our enemy, we have to take it as an absolute certainty.
Somebody clearly thought this quote was so apt that they even included it in the film's trailer. But folks who remember post-9/11 American politics might notice that Batman borrowed an infamous Cheney quote there, partly verbatim. In 2003, the ex-Veep had said, "If there's a 1% chance that Pakistani scientists are helping Al-Qaeda build or develop a nuclear weapon, we have to treat it as a certainty in terms of our response." This argument was used by Cheney in 2003 as justification for the US invasion of Iraq. Here, Batman vs. Superman puts a widely disliked man's words about a wildly unpopular war in the mouth of one of the most popular heroes in all of fiction. Whatever the intent for the purpose of the story, it feels like a serious misfire. Though it's never stated outright, it's very heavily implied that in Batman vs. Superman, Lex Luthor pees in a jar and leaves it on a podium as a final screw you to Senator June Finch. This happens just moments before a suicide bomber kills her along with an entire courtroom of people. Doesn't this seem a little juvenile and crass, even for Jesse Eisenberg's bizarre take on Luthor? Based on his mannerisms and background, this version of Luthor scans like a combination of Eisenberg's performance in The Social Network and a mediocre screenwriter who once made a YouTube fan film about Superman. Even still, you can't help but wonder if the movie version of Mark Zuckerberg would have come up with a more elegant and sophisticated way to mess with Senator Finch's brain before blasting her to smithereens. He did invent Facebook, after all. The version of Jonathan Kent portrayed by Kevin Costner in Man of Steel is a man who loves farming and hates rescuing people when they're in trouble. This makes him a somewhat non-traditional interpretation of Clark Kent's foundational male role model who, in other takes on the Superman myth, tends to gently push Clark in a more pro-saving people direction. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The moment when famously invincible Clark Kent stands by and watches his adopted dad run into a raging tornado to rescue the family dog, only to predictably die horribly, is very cringy. Obviously, Superman could rescue his paw and the pooch very quickly and with minimal effort, but instead he just stands there and does this.
I don't care.
And if you think that's bad, wait until you hear Superman's cry of exhausted anguish immediately after offing Zod at the end of the movie. But hey, maybe this is just how Superman reacts to bad stuff. Missed the bus?
Missed the bus?
Colors ran in the wash.
Oh, wow.
Out of milk? Poor old Clark Kent just can't catch a break. Barbara Minerva is one of the most glaring missed opportunities in Wonder Woman 1984. There have been a few different versions of Cheetah in the comics, but the baseline of Barbara can be summarized as the answer to the question, what if Indiana Jones was an evil flesh-eating jungle cat? But instead of a physical and mental match for an immortal Amazon princess, Wonder Woman 1984 coughs up an awkward nerd who loses her mind when she gets powers, in the mold of some of Joel Schumacher's Batman villains. When Barbara and Diana meet, Barbara's deeply envious of Diana because something to do with her self-esteem. Even though Barbara is also a conventionally attractive woman with a fancy archaeology career that presumably pays very handsomely indeed. Still, at least she looks good in her cheetah form. The general consensus on the two versions of Justice League is that Zack Snyder's revamped version of the movie released in 2021 is a step up from the 2017 theatrical cut. But that doesn't mean the so-called Snyder Cut is totally free of cringeworthy moments. Take, for instance, the whole deal with Martha Kent and Lois Lane. After Ma Kent finishes telling Lois Lane that she can't grieve over Superman's death forever, Martha leaves the apartment, then suddenly transforms into John Jones, also known as the Martian Manhunter. Jones, in his DCEU debut, then transforms again into General Calvin Swanwick, who you may remember from Man of Steel. Martian Manhunter never interacts directly with any Justice League members until well after the major events of the film have wrapped up. He comes across as totally unconnected to the plot and feels shoehorned in for the purpose of showing the audience yet another familiar intellectual property. Furthermore, he raises some befuddling questions the film never addresses. For one, was Harry Lennox, who plays General Swanwick, playing John Jones all the way back in Man of Steel, or did John replace that guy at some point? That's not the only problem with this scene either. Setting aside whether you accept the idea that Lois would completely fall apart after Superman's demise, the kind of serious clinical depression she is suffering from isn't the sort of thing that gets resolved by a pep talk from your almost mother-in-law. All in all, a decent scene for fan service, but not so much for anything else. In one of the most talked about additions to
turn
Justice
down the
League's
volume on my
2021
phone.
Snyder
My
Cut,
bad.
the film's plot flashes forward to a potential future. One in which Batman and a cohort of costume pals wander through a Mad Max-style wasteland. It
it's a
soon becomes
nightmare
clear
scene
that
in
this gang
Batman.
includes the Joker, played by
Yeah,
Jared Leto,
Joker.
reprising his
Jared Leto
Suicide Squad
Joker.
role. A subsequent conversation between Batman and the Joker dumps the exposition of their relationship. Basically, Batman can never kill the Joker because they complete each other, or something. It's the usual song and dance, but then Joker says this.
You don't want to kill me. I'm your best friend.
I'm the best friend.
Besides, who's gonna give you a reach around?
Oh boy, that's right. This ain't your grandpa's Joker. This one is dark and scary and kinda homophobic too. Eat your heart out, Zach Galifianakis. And sure, some folks like the Joker stuff and Zack Snyder's Justice League, all power to them, but you'd also be forgiven for thinking it plays like a 13-year-old read The Killing Joke, saw The Dark Knight, and then decided to write a Batman Joker scene that was the edgiest thing to ever have an edgy night in Edgeville. Of course, the scene also makes basically no sense and adds nothing to the larger context of the movie, but it is at least noteworthy for its vindication of Joel Schumacher. Suicide Squad is likely to fade
Yeah, I'm
away
not a
into
fan of
obscurity.
Suicide
Still,
Squad.
we'll always have the memories.
did not like the
these
first-
early promotional
and I
stills
did not
for the
like the
film that
first
set Jared Leto up to
and I
fail
sure
miserably
did not
as
like the
successor
second.
to Heath Ledger's turn as the
Yeah,
Clown
both the
Prince of
Suicide
Crime.
Squad suck.
Before you realized what you were looking at, you might have been forgiven for wondering
did
why
not like
Ayer had
the
chosen to
Su-
promote his
Jared
Suicide
Leto
Squad movie
Suicide
with
Squad.
that guy who got kicked out of the mall for
They did
taking his
probably
shirt off
better
in
making them
Spencer's.
in the
Or
Zack
maybe you
Snyder
wondered why
Snyder
Jared
Cut,
Leto
but
had started
still,
a
I'm like,
metalcore band. But then
Nah.
the horrible truth dawned. Oh man, that's
I'm not a
supposed to
big
be
fan
the
of
Joker.
Jared Leto.
It wasn't a great moment.
Like, they
Here's a
added
fun
too much
fact
on
for
that
you.
match, man.
Belly
They had
dancing
too much
is
tattoos on
not
it.
intimidating. If you have ever been to a belly dancing demonstration, you'll notice that the performers in no way intend to frighten the audience. So when the minds behind Suicide Squad needed something for Enchantress to do to indicate that some evil as heck magic was taking place, why did they land on this? It's clear that somebody at Warner
Yeah.
Brothers thought audiences would react better to a runway model dancing in her underwear rather than, say, anything that actually made sense. But this is Suicide Squad's main antagonist, someone who is supposed to be a big bad reality destroying supervillain. Shouldn't she be doing anything more disturbing than shaking her hips to some medium quality CG
Yeah, I was
effects?
seeing, I was like, man, when I saw this,
Honestly,
man, I was like, why is she over here
Enchantress's
doing the
whole
belly
deal
dance?
in Suicide Squad
She's
feels
over
like
here just
somebody in
walking
charge
around.
was working overtime to appeal to the teenage male segment of the audience, which would explain
Like,
what they did to
seriously?
Harley Quinn, too. Thanks to the advancement of science and technology,
Something like
it's
that.
more or less common amongst human beings to carry around what is essentially a computer in their pockets.
Talking about
Amazing,
Henry
right?
Cavill's mustache,
And yet, Hollywood still
CGI.
seems unable to edit one
that, man.
mustache off one guy
Josh
in
Whedon, Justice
one
League,
movie.
man. Come on, man. That shit was trash.
Back in 2017,
Josh
a
Whedon,
tragic
Justice League
family
trash.
emergency forced original director Zack Snyder to leave the production of what became the theatrical cut of Justice League. The now notorious Joss Whedon took over from there to basically nobody's satisfaction. By the time the Whedon-helmed reshoots began, however, Henry Cavill had grown a mustache for his part in Mission Impossible Fallout. This meant that the Justice League special effects team had to digitally erase Cavill's facial hair in post-production. By the time Justice League hit theaters, the extensive reshoots and digital edits had been widely reported in the media, so it's hard to say if anyone would have noticed the change if they weren't looking for it. Sadly, it happened to be the case that everybody was, in fact, looking for a digitally altered upper lip that came straight out of Bizarro World. As a result, everybody did notice it, and the ensuing laughter could be heard all around the world. Check out one of our newest videos right here, plus even more Looper videos about the DCEU are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell.
Yeah. All those movies, but the Zack Snyder Justice League, you know what I'm saying? All the rest of those movies, you know, Suicide Squad and Josh Whedon's Justice League and Batman v Superman, you know, they had a lot of problems. And they could have at least done a whole lot better with Batman v Superman. Like I don't know why they introduced Doomsday in that movie, man. They should have put a weight on that until like Man of Steel 2 or something, or Man of Steel 3. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause Superman got like a lot more villains as it is. And plus, I want to see Ben Affleck playing more of Batman. You know what I'm saying? Because we want to see all his villains on his films. You know what I'm saying? Like, but too bad we won't be getting it. Cause cause Ben Affleck say he's not gonna be playing as Batman no more. So, but still waiting to see what Robert Pattinson's gonna do. But we shall see. We shall see. I mean, I'm already liking. I mean, I've seen enough trailers and everything. I know they've been releasing TV spots here and there, though, but I've been avoiding all the TV spots because I didn't want to be spoiled by as seeing all the stuff that's going on with the Batman. So I'm going to put a wait, what I'm saying? Because it comes out, March the 4th? So I'm not going to watch no trailers, no TV spots, nothing. None of that stuff. But, Warner Bros. Going to be putting the copyright claim on my stuff anyway. So it's just like, what's the point of it? but yeah. Yeah, all the movies had a lot of problems though, but when Zack Snyder, when he made his vision come true in his Justice League movie, that was just a masterpiece right there. I was like, yo, like come on, Zack, like man, I'm just saying, like in my mind's like I'm hearing voices in my head like bring me more, man. Like, what else you got underneath your sleeve, you know what I'm saying? Like, what else you going to bring to the table to see more, of your vision, you know what I'm saying, for Justice League? Because I would like to see more, man, but, all this drama that's been going on and, WB, Warner Bros., you know what I'm saying? They tripping. They don't want Zack Snyder no more or something like that because, they've been, toying with him, messing with him and everything, all that petty shit going on. I mean, all that petty shit they was doing just didn't make no sense, man. But like I said again, hashtag restore the Snyderverse because I really want to see more of his work. I'm just saying, like they need to make that happen, man. But only time will tell. Only time will tell because everything is just all screwed up right now. So just going to see what's up. But post your comments down below. I really want to know what y'all think. And if you enjoyed my reaction, make sure you hit that like button. And always subscribe it and share it. Let me catch you guys later. Deuces.